Joining us on World Hospice and Palliative Care Day is Dr. Nitesh Rohatgi, a medical oncologist and the Associate Director of Max Super Speciality Hospitals.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let me begin by asking you, sir. Now, of the majority of people with cancer in India, about 70% are diagnosed with late-stage diseases. At what point do you, as the treating oncologist, then recommend palliative care as a preferred option?
So I think we should not be segregating actually the two. I don't think oncology and palliative medicine are two separate branches. I think actually they intermingle extremely well from day one. Most palliative care physicians have a very good handle on symptom control, on pain management, and most oncologists do recognize that a patient need a lot of psychological and physical support. So I actually do not segregate them. So I think from day one. But having that, when you talk about really care of the dying, when you talk about people who you know are not going to get better, I feel it's imperative that we bring it on as early as possible. Most oncologists can recognize that this is now going to be a crescendo or a downward trend of a patient. And I think if we pick them up early, start giving them warning signs, start talking about hope, changing from hope to live to hope to die with dignity, I think a lot of changes can be made. And I think we're very far from that in India at the moment.
At the same time, sir, you have referred a lot of patients to CanSupport. So could you share with us what your experience was and what was that of your patients?
On the whole, I wholeheartedly support CanSupport because I find it's a phenomenal organization. I mean, not only from the point of view that it makes palliative care affordable, but for more importantly, it ticks all the right boxes. You know, it's got the heart in the right place. The key problem that happens to patients who are dying is that they need support at home. And you know that support at home is very difficult and very expensive. But more importantly, if it's not a palliatively trained team, they are all over the place. You know, we've had situations where people have home added IV antibiotics for 3 weeks, tubes put in the wrong places. And it's just completely against the ethos of letting people die with care and dignity. CanSupport brings opposite of that. You know, it makes sure that all these things are discussed and put forward, involves us as physicians. So I've had a very good experience with them on the whole, and then therefore wholeheartedly support them.
At the same time, doctor, there are a lot of apprehensions still about palliative care, that it is the end of life care and that, you know, opioids can lead to addiction. How do you then, as a physician referring someone to palliative care, combat some of these misconceptions?
Your most important question when you're addressing care of the dying is communication a couple of months ago with the patient and the family. And I can tell you that's the single most important turning point in many of my patients' life and in my own life, and as a physician, as a human being, and I discuss with them. The ease at which the family accepts death, the modality of death, and what needs to be done in and around that time changes hugely when they have heard from the patient themselves that I need this to happen. I must have this happen. I must die with comfort. So when a father tells that in front of his daughter, and when we finally put systems in place, it is very different than father have never discussed that and then the daughter to be taking the onus of the whole thing. And that's exactly what I mean to say, discuss, because you can predict that. You can see that the patient's going to be badly and maybe not able to take a decision at some point. So you need to bring that up in your OPD consult. It takes a couple of times, the right opportunity. You can't plan this. So you should be ready to discuss that. And when the patient bring it up, you should use that cue and make that discussion, document it, but more importantly, involve the family. And I can tell you, most human beings are very sensible. we're commonsensical animals. So if it's been discussed, if it has been imagined, if it's been visualized, it's actually not that difficult to accept that people need to die with dignity and care.
And sir, before we let you go, your message today to your colleagues as well as those living with cancer and their families.
Oh, I think my message to anybody when they talk about cancer is diagnose early, actually. I almost always say that uh, there has to be now a time when we change the ratios from 30-70 to 70-30. But when we specifically speak about palliative care, I will reiterate the fact that A, palliation and oncology go hand in hand. They're not two separate branches. And B, uh, please take a moment and speak to your patient while they are compartmenting and taking decisions about what to do if things go bad and you're in terminal illness. What to do then? Get that sorted. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nitesh Rohatgi, for joining us today.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.